Hello. Oh my gosh, I look like I've just seen a ghost because literally I almost have. This is my second time recording this just because my boyfriend came in right near the end of the last one and he scared the shit out of me. Anyway, welcome back. If you're watching, I am gonna be reviewing this book, Verity, so it kind of goes very in line with being spooked and freaked the heck out, which is what just happened to me. Gosh, I'm still in shock. Anyway, very fitting. So, this is a book review about Verity by Colleen Hoover. This book was amazing. It was really freaking good. So, we're going to get into it. I recommend it. I'm just going to start there. I recommend this book. It's a little disturbing. If you're able to handle some disturbing stuff to an extent, it's not like cut into somebody's guts and take them out. It's not like that kind of disturbing. It's like the somebody watching me type, like that kind of disturbing. So that's why I was spooked. Anyway, whatever. I just was spooked. If you couldn't tell that already. So what this book is about is this woman named Lowen. She is a writer and sort of an up-and-coming writer that hasn't had a whole ton of success yet, and she gets this opportunity to finish this series for a very well-known writer. Her name is Verity. A very well-known writer who has 9 books in a series, and Verity did the first 6, but then she found herself in a state where she couldn't finish it, so they're bringing in somebody else, a different author to finish it, and that happens to be Lowen. So Lowen gets this opportunity to move into this woman's house to finish this series. In the house also lives Jeremy, Verity's husband. So, Lowen moves into the house, and she needs to, sort through some of Verity's old outlines and books and notes, just so that she can get some ideas on where she wants to take the rest of the series and books 7, 8, and 9. So, excuse me. So she has to look through her stuff, and she finds some interesting things, and she's living in this house, and she's getting to know Jeremy, so that's kind of like the beginning. That's the hook. The hook is definitely in the book, and just the way it's written and the way Colleen Hoover talks about these characters and their situation, it definitely grabs you. And even just the first line is pretty crazy. It definitely is just like, what the heck? I hear the crack of his skull before the spattering of blood reaches me. That is line 1 right there. Chapter 1, line 1. So, yeah, it's a little intense. And you're just like, okay, here we go, right into it, So, anyway, so I would say, though, that this book is a little, I said it already, disturbing, in certain ways. So that was kind of the biggest thing that I took from this, not the biggest thing, but in terms of the writing, it was just yikes, oh my gosh, what the heck are people, how do people do this shit? And that's kind of how this book left me feeling at a lot of times throughout it. So, I will say, I've heard some people say that they got this book, they started it, and they couldn't stop. It was that good. It was that amazing. And I've had those experiences, too. Don't get me wrong. I've had, I think, Ugly Love. I sat and finished that book in less than 24 hours. Pretty quickly. And this one, it didn't take me that long. It took me, 4 or 5 days. But for me, especially if it's a gripping book, that, it's that's a little bit of time. And so, honestly, I feel like that was because this book was that disturbing that there were times where I was like, I don't even know if I want to read the next part. This is freaking weird. And I think that's awesome that Colleen Hoover is able to make her readers feel that way. I think that's a really cool, it would, I was still interested enough to, of course, keep reading. The story was good and Colleen Hoover's just awesome. But there are definitely times where it left me, so uncomfortable and so, how on earth, this is just messed up. This is disturbing content. And so I thought that was really cool that Colleen Hoover was able to do that. And I don't know. I really don't want to say too much because I think that if you're into Colleen Hoover and you're into a story that's pretty good and gripping enough and something you want to drop your jaw at the end, this is that book. I will say there was maybe a little bit of time. The thing about this book was it was so hyped. It was so hyped. It wasn't overhyped necessarily, but it was really hyped up. And of course, when you get a book that you're really hyped for, you naturally just expect a lot, whether you mean to or not. That's how you feel. And so, I still think this book was outstanding, and I'm still going to give it a really high rating, and I do recommend it. But you know, it's hard to like. No, I feel like no book is going to leave me on the edge of my seat with every single word, and I felt like some people literally said that with this book. So it's like, okay, well, I didn't have that exact reaction, you know, and I mean, you can't blame the book, but anyway. So I did feel like maybe there was a little bit a span of time, maybe like 50 to 70 pages in the middle, where it was kind of like, all right, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And maybe that's how you're supposed to feel as a reader, but I kind of was like, okay, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Like, come on, you know. And you know, it's well worth the wait, and it's really good, and it's not even that like really much like you're waiting, but it's pretty great. And I will say, by the end of the book, like the last like 50 or so pages is just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my, what? Like, that's how I felt. like. And if you like feeling that way during a book, you're gonna rock with this, because this is pretty good. Especially up until the last word. Like, and when books can do that, that's awesome, because there's so many books that I get to, and I read, and I know there's like 30 pages left, and I read like 10 of them, and then I know there's 20 pages left, and I'm like, okay, everything happened. Like, now the author's just trying to tie all the loose ends, make it all pretty. And this one, like, you think that's happening, and then you're like, what? Like, which is so cool, which is the coolest thing. And I commend her so much for that. That's really, like, Colleen Hoover, because that's pretty outstanding. So even just by the end, the very last line, you're just like all of it, all up until the very end. So I'm going to stop. You get the idea. I think it's pretty cool. I don't want to say too much more. If you like Colleen Hoover's writing, it's awesome. I mean, it's unique because it's disturbing. She doesn't normally do this. She does more of like the serious romance books, but this is really cool. And I honestly hope she writes like this again, like another thriller or whatever genre she wants to say this is in. It was interesting, like, even because there was romance in this book, but this book made me so like left me feeling anxious that I was hesitant to even like fall into the romance part, because I felt like I couldn't even enjoy that, because these characters are freaking wild, and I think that's awesome. You got to make your characters interesting. Make your characters interesting, and she totally did. She succeeded. So just props all around. And honestly, so rating wise, I want to say 5 stars. Like, I feel like that's so intense. Like, maybe 4.75. I don't know, but honestly, I think I'm just gonna give it 5 stars. Maybe I'll change it later down the line. But this was a really freaking good book. So 5 stars for Verity by Colleen Hoover. That's how I feel, and it really was a good book. So it had a little bit of everything, and it just left you with that in the end. So it was great. Okay, I'm going to do spoilers now just a little bit. I don't even want to say that much, because honestly, if you've read the book, everything's there. Like, there's really not even that much to say, I feel like. But anyway, so pause it if you don't want to hear spoilers. Okay, so after I finished reading it, there were so many different reviews that I was just like, as soon as I finish a book, I always like jump to go look at other reviews. I'm like, what did everyone think? What did I miss? Tell me, like, give me like things or whatever. It's fun for me. So that's like what I immediately do, like almost like immediately. So a lot of people were saying team manuscript or team letter, and I was like, ooh. But honestly, after thinking about it, and I felt like a lot of people were team manuscript, but I am team letter, just because I just feel like it makes it that much more like in your face to Lowen and Jeremy if they really had killed her without, like, with it all being fake. And then honestly, everyone susses me out in this book. Like, all the characters. Lowen, freaking weird. The whole, like, the pillow scene with the lifting her hips, and then the biting the headboard to make her marks deep, like, weird. It felt really weird. Jeremy was giving me the skeevies, like, a lot, and then finding out that he actually knew everything the whole time, and like didn't share that with this person that he was acting like he was falling in love with. Like, I don't know, that whole thing was just weird. And then Verity, for all the reasons, like, first of all, if she did everything, then yeah, that's all of that is insanely messed up. And then even if she didn't, the fact that she even like thought of all of that, and like, got to manipulate your mind in order to make all that happen. I mean, that all of that is just wild. So I think like Colleen Hoover's characters are just awesome, and even the kid, like Crew, was a little bit freaky. Like I was like, I didn't want to mess with anybody. I was like, I would not be caught alone with any of these individuals. They are all just too much for me. So, excuse me. So, I don't know. I think I'm Team Letter just because I don't know. I feel like it would just, I don't know, maybe makes the story better, but maybe not. But then I was reading people's reasons for saying Team Manuscript, and the biggest one that stood out to me was the scar that was supposedly on Chasten's face. That if that scar was there, then, like, you gotta believe that she tried to force that abortion, which is just, like, when I read that, I was like, and that was just the beginning, honestly, of all the crazy shit. So, that's what made me feel like, maybe. But then the doctor said that sometimes that can happen. But then people said, well, the doctor, the way he said it made it seem like, so I don't know. I mean, form your own opinion, of course, but I feel a little bit toward the Team Letter just for the heck of it. I mean, of course, it could go either way. I've also heard that Colleen Hoover herself said that she's Team Manuscript, so does that mean that it's officially Team, that means that Verity did do all the things? I don't know. When I read that she was on her hands and knees, I was like, what the heck? And when I read that she was at the top of the stairs, I'm just like envisioning somebody like, oh no. Nope. Honestly, this book left me on the edge of my seat a lot. Like, I need to give this book the credit that it deserves. I don't want to, like, act like it wasn't, like it was too slow, because it really wasn't. And everything was worth the wait, because it all mattered. It all affected the story, and I don't know. I honestly want to go reread it now, because I want to, like, read it from all the different perspectives now, and knowing the information that I do. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I don't want to say anything. I don't even know what else I would say, but yeah, this rocked. So I don't know. I've been reading some good books lately, and I'm on a good swing, and I want it to stay high. So we'll see. I don't know what I'm going to read next, but this book was it. So do recommend. All right. Thank you.